what can we expect to happen with oil for 2017?
I would say that we're probably looking at an average price of somewhere in the region of $55 to $60. Now, an average price is very different from what spread bettors should be aiming at. I'll give you a classic example. For much of 2016, what we've seen is the oil price has had wild swings from $27 up to $53, the highest price we've had in recent weeks. The way I see it is that the average price is still going to be somewhere in the region of about $50 for 2016, but spread bettors have had their moments where on a 5-day week they can make intraday calls. They can look at the news flow and take a point spread either ways as to where the market is going, and on any given day, just because the oil price coming down doesn't mean you can't make money spread betting. You can bet on the price coming down as well as going up. So my advice would be, look at the daily calls, look at the daily news flow, and place your bets accordingly. Some of the dates that spread bettors need to be aware of between now and the end of the year, one would be what the US Federal Reserve does, and of course 30th November, what OPEC decides. Will OPEC intervene? Will OPEC finally intervene after a gap of 2 or 3 years and cut production? And on that day, if OPEC cuts, it won't necessarily mean that you just bet oil up towards the end of the year. You can bet on oil going up in the immediate 5 or 6 days and place your spread bets accordingly. But that doesn't mean that streak would continue. I'd still think oil would average around $50 for 2016. I would still think that in 2017, oil would average somewhere in the region of $55 to $60. Let's say $57.50, bang in the middle. And on any given week, make your spreads on the basis of the news flow. The days you need to look at is when the US publishes its inventory data, which is usually midweek, every week on a Wednesday. So that's one date. You look at all the OPEC summits, you look at some of the sound bites, and it's a very sensitive market. So on any given day you wake up, just because you have perception that oil is going to average, as I've just said, I expect oil to average between 55 and 60, doesn't mean that you can't drive it up this phase or that. So make a daily call.
So how about for the next decade? Where do we see prices going? Are we going to stay around that $50, $60 mark for a barrel?
This is very difficult. If you have a major geopolitical event, we could be at $100 tomorrow. But it has to be something really significant, like somebody impacting the East-West Saudi oil pipeline. The world is still a very troubled spot. Nigeria and Libya, they're still pretty bad. But because there's so much oil in the market, this so-called geopolitical premium has disappeared. Next 10 years, very difficult to say. If there is a geopolitical flare-up, yes, oil could touch $100. But right now, my thinking is we're stuck where we are for the next 3 to 5 years. And if we are able to stretch up to 80 beyond that, then that will be a starting point. But I think it's very difficult to predict the next 10.